Hey YouTube, Brian here from LCS. Thanks for stopping by the channel and this video, the Amazing Spider-Man number 83 review. So let's jump into this issue. As we've previously discussed in this current run, Ben Reilly has kind of taken over the mantle of Spider-Man due to the fact that Peter Parker is out of commission and in the hospital. He's been in a coma and sick with radiation poisoning due to a battle with the UFOs several issues ago. And so he's been out of commission in the hospital. And like I said, Ben Reilly has been kind of taking over and filling in for him with the help of the Beyond Corporation. And so we haven't had a lot of Peter Parker in the last 8 or 9 issues. But this issue is actually a full, almost full. I think we had 2 pages dedicated to Ben Reilly, but it's a full Peter Parker story. And it's really not good. So let's jump in. It opens up with a scene of Janine, who is Ben Reilly's girlfriend, and she's talking to Marcus, who's Ben's handler. And it's really kind of a throwaway. I'm not really even sure why. It's not really moving the story along. As you can see here, this book is written and the art is done by Patrick Gleason. So we get back to Peter Parker in the hospital. He is awake now. And one of his nurses here is trying to push him to do some work with physical therapy. And she's basically, telling him, look, you can't give up on me. I don't want, if we're going to start this, we need to finish it. You can't give up. And so he's texting with Mary Jane. Mary Jane has been by his side kind of the whole series of events that have been happening. But Peter here is having some issues with his spider sense. His spider sense has basically been flipped on constantly, and so he's kind of being bombarded with the sense of the spider sense in his head constantly, and so he's trying to figure out, turn it off to kind of get some relief, and he kind of falls into this state where he's kind of dreaming about Spider-Man and getting the spider sense out of his head. And you kind of see here that, we've almost got a spider popping out of his head. And so at this point, he's kind of in a dream state. And we see his head has been kind of ripped open and the spider sense has kind of crawled, out. And so he's, in bed in the hospital and he's kind of daydreaming this all happening. And so it's tough to see here what is real and what is not, because he's kind of in and out of this dream state. But here he is, on the hospital ledge, kind of going back out as Spider-Man, and he runs into some criminals who are stealing a car, and he's like, all right, this is probably a good way for me to kind of get back into being Spider-Man and see how I can handle this. And so he gets, tries to stop these two, it looks like boyfriend and girlfriend, from stealing this car. And he basically, because he has been laid up in bed, gets his butt handed to him by these two kind of, street level criminals. So, and then, we see Captain America come in and save him. And then, like I said, it's really tough to distinguish what's going on. And then we kind of see a flashback to when he was young, a young Peter Parker in his room, and he's talking with Aunt May, and he's holding a Captain America action figure. And then we get a little scene. Again, he's seeing the kind of spider sense out there, kind of watching him. And then, I'm sorry for the glare, we get Uncle Ben in the picture and kind of talking to him about an event that happened earlier in the day where it looked like Peter stole something from a local store, and how May and Ben were kind of handling it and trying to teach, Peter a lesson about, what he did. And still as the young Peter, we see the kind of spider sense that's still kind of hanging around. And then, Peter basically says, look, by the words that Aunt May and Ben had said to him, is that he can take on the responsibility, that he'll go talk to the store owner, and also that he can take on the responsibility of handling the spider sense that's constantly going off, in his head. And we see them kind of come back together, the kind of spider sense that's here, and then he's rejoined with, with Peter. And then we see Peter kind of, wake up in the hospital, and basically that's where the story ends. So, this really, I don't understand where they're going with this story. This feels like another issue that really just drags out and really doesn't add to anything. We know Peter has spider sense. So obviously this is a side effect of the, sickness that he's dealing with. But, we do get a flashback to, when he was younger, and a lesson that Aunt May and Uncle Ben tried to teach him. And then obviously that has been, it looks like that's his motivation to try to, move forward and work with a physical therapist and get better at the hospital. I don't know what to make of this. It just really feels, again, like a throwaway. And now we've had 2 or 3 issues in a row where it's really kind of a throwaway story, where last issue he was trapped in the hospital, and there was some orderly that was killing people. And then the story before that was kind of a side story with Aunt May and Doc Ock. So really, I don't feel like The Amazing Spider-Man is moving in the right direction. The first couple issues of this run I thought were good, better than the previous run, previous Gleason run. But now I just feel like we are just, I don't know, they're throwing darts at the wall, and they're not hitting the board at this point. They are really just trying to stretch this storyline out with Ben Reilly and beyond, and I really don't feel like they're doing a good job. So I'm hopeful that issue 84 will turn things around, but it's really, I really feel like now, like I said, issue 74 was the final issue of the Gleason run, and then 75 and on have been the new multiple creative teams. It's, like I said, started out okay, and now it's really kind of taking a nosedive. So Spider-Man's my guy. I'm going to stick with him. I enjoy the character overall and what Peter Parker stands for, but this story is terrible. And I just don't understand why their marquee character, Spider-Man, their kind of Marvel's cash cow, is just, we're seeing very inconsistent creative teams, and they're swapping teams out. They're publishing 3 issues a month. And I just think they need to pump the brakes, maybe slow down, write a single issue a month, and give us, a quality over quantity. I think that would do Marvel some good. And I think the readers of Amazing Spider-Man and fans of Amazing Spider-Man could, possibly bring some people back, because there are plenty of, dedicated Spider-Man fans who have given up on this series altogether. And believe me, if this type of storytelling and writing continues, I'm not sure if I'm going to, keep slapping down my $5, every 3 times a month, for this, because I could go read something else, spend that money elsewhere on a better book and a better story. So let me know what you think. I know, there are still some people that are reading it, so let me know. What did you think of this issue? If you did read it, is my opinion of it way off, or does it really feel like just more throwaway stories and we're not really moving the story forward? The art I thought was very good. Just the writing story just did not do anything for me. And the fact that it's been coupled with a couple back-to-back not very good stories really really has me worried. So let me know what you think, of my review, and if you've read it, what's your take on it? What am I way off, or let me hear your 2 cents on it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching the video, taking the time to watch, and we'll be back soon with our next review of Amazing Spider-Man number 84.